everyone, and welcome to a new video where we're going to learn interesting information about dinosaurs and other amazing animals. As you can see here, on the cover we're looking at a big Tyrannosaurus Rex with its mouth wide open. I don't know if you knew this, but it had a total of 60 sharp teeth. Here we have one of these figures with us. I like it because it's soft, which lets us move its head, tail, and legs, as well as enjoy its bright colors. These figures help us learn a lot in a fun way. We also have the great Parasaurolophus. The most distinctive feature of this figure is that it has a speaker on the bottom. Look at this horn it had on the back of its head, which was able to make sounds to communicate with the rest of the herd. Now let's open the box and get to know the animals inside. And look, there are a lot of different figures. Let's take them all out so we can learn their names and their characteristics. Let's see which one comes out first. I'm seeing a really cool red figure that's very eye-catching. This is the great Carnotaurus, a dinosaur that was very large, similar in size to the great Tyrannosaurus Rex, especially because of its size, Parasaurolophus, and the two horns it had on the top of its head. Also, its skull was gigantic. That's why its sides were flattened, to lighten the weight of its head and prevent it from losing balance forward due to the weight. Its front legs were also quite small, and obviously it used them to catch meat and bring it to its mouth to help itself eat. Parasaurolophus, 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 Parasaurolophus. The tail also played a very important role, as it served as a counterweight for Parasaurolophus hybrid. According to experts, it used these horns in big battles to blind its opponents, delivering powerful charges and leaving them blind to gain an advantage. Very interesting, isn't it? We continue with another. I really like this figure a lot. As you can see, it's of very good quality, and it comes with all kinds of details. Look at the eye. We can also see its jaw and its teeth. If we turn it around, we can see all the bones that make up the skeleton of the great Velociraptor, which is this dinosaur. As you know, it was a carnivorous dinosaur, which means it fed on meat. We can see here the cavities where its eyes were located. Some bones were tiny, like those that made up its spine or even the tip of its tail. This platform I really like simulates a rock. As you know, the Velociraptor had rather long forelegs, which allowed it to immobilize its prey. It could grow up to 2 meters long. It wasn't as big as other large carnivores, however. They could catch large prey because they hunted in groups or packs. It lived on Earth during the Cretaceous period. Let's see which one comes out next. And we have a giant among giants. It's a herbivorous dinosaur called Brachiosaurus. It had a very unique shape on its head, with this small bump on the top. Also, its legs were super big and sturdy, and it could reach about 22 meters in length. Therefore, to feed such a large animal, you would need tons of food every day and lots of liters of water. Impressive, right? According to experts, the size of the Brachiosaurus's brain was tiny compared to the rest of its body. Let's look at another one. Wow, I love looking at this figure. It looks like it's a dinosaur that just hatched from its egg. It's a little baby, as you can see. It still has the rounded shape of the egg. Why? Why, right? Spikes? On its upper part, I would say it's a Pachycephalosaurus. It had a super hard skull. To be able to defend itself from predators and to engage in battles against other members of its own species. It mainly did this to impress the females when it had to mate. The figure is soft, and I like it because it has a lot of details. Its tail is pink on the front side, and we can see that the hind legs are bigger. And is it because it was a bipedal dinosaur? Also, we can see a strong beak at the tip of its mouth, something that was characteristic of some herbivores, which they used to dig in the ground for roots and food. Here's another one. Let's continue with a different one, and we have another little animal that has just been born. This time, it's a flying reptile called Pteranodon. We know this because of the large horn it had on the back of its head, and above all, it also had a long beak that it used to hunt. It mainly ate fish, and it had impressive wings. Here we see them folded, so you can't really see them very well. But when it reached adulthood, it had wings that could measure about 2 meters in length. Impressive. They always used to fly over areas with rivers, seas, and oceans. Next, we have the greatest predator ever on Earth. We're going to look at this impressive, detailed figure. I'll bring it closer so you can see it better.
Look at this neck and, above all, at this jaw.
The great Tyrannosaurus Rex was relentless. It was almost impossible to escape from these teeth it had. Some of its teeth could reach up to 20 centimeters, and inside its mouth, according to experts, a human could fit inside, since its head measured more than 1.5 meters. It was a bipedal dinosaur. As you can see at the bottom, we can appreciate what its footprints would look like with these 3 long toes. Also, on its front legs it only had 2 very small fingers, which it used to grab meat and bring it to its mouth. It could run at a speed of about 60 kilometers per hour, but only for a very short period of time, since its body was too heavy. That often kept it from hunting. Let's continue with another one. Earlier, this little dinosaur came out of the box, and it seemed like it wanted to escape. It's a much smaller figure. Also, I like it because it's artistic. Look, we can move the back legs and the front legs, which allows us to put it in different poses and positions. I also like the shape of its eye. It has a glass effect, and if we move it from side to side, it even looks like it's following us with its gaze. We have another little Velociraptor, though we can't see its sharp teeth. Oops! Let's leave it here with the little dinosaurs and continue with another figure. Look, we have a very different one. This one is super soft, we can squish it and stretch it, which makes it super relaxing. We can see the complete skeleton of a Stegosaurus. This dinosaur could reach about 9 meters in length. It had large bony plates all along the dorsal part of its body, but it could also defend itself with this big tail, which had 4 gigantic and very sharp spikes at the tip. When a predator approached, it would swing its tail from side to scare them away and escape. Very cool.
And now, we only have one figure left inside.
It's another flying reptile, a giant of the skies, and it also has a long neck. We can see a crest on the top of its head, very similar to that of roosters, and a strong beak, very much like that of the Pteranodon. However, this specimen of flying reptile was gigantic, and its body was impressive. If we turn it around, we can see what would be the fossil remains of this specimen. Super cool. And that's the end of today's video. Here are all the dinosaurs we covered. If you enjoyed it, please give me a super like or thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe so you don't miss any videos. Goodbye, and see you in the next video with more dinosaurs. Goodbye.